And we are live. Live Q&A with Sam Healey. Hello, everybody. Welcome. Thanks for joining me here. I know there's only a few of us here waiting. 26 as I'm looking at right now. So, again, any questions that you have, I'll be taking them from the chat area. I won't be taking them from anywhere else. So we'll keep it nice and simplistic that way. But anyway, thanks for joining me here. I do appreciate it. And I'll do my best to answer whatever questions that you do have for me. So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump in. We have been working our tails off this week because we are trying to do, we've had to do basically 2 weeks of work in one because we're trying to work ahead for next week. So we have that content continuing to be pumped out next week while we're at the gathering of friends. So that is that. Welcome everyone. And we're going to go all the way up to the front. So Kabuki is going to be helping me weather the chat. So thank you, Kabuki, for doing that. And I don't know if anybody else is going to be doing that as well, but we do appreciate it. Let's see here. I'm going to break the chat, pop out the chat here so that we have a little bit of a better control over all that. All right, so back up to the top. We're going to have some questions here. Let's see. Where has Jason been? He's been around, just not a whole lot of videos being made. He is a lot more busy at work than he usually has been, but he was just at game night last night, and he helped us move some stuff as we came in. So he's around. He's just not making a whole lot of videos right now for time constraints, as far as I know. What's my favorite ice cream? My favorite ice cream is pecan pralines and cream. Pecan pralines and cream. That's my favorite. Bluebell specifically, if possible, but pecan pralines and cream is my favorite, generally speaking. Let's see. What's the current plan for Dice Tower presence at PAX Unplugged? We are still looking at going to that. We have not made the definite decision to go there, but it is there. Let's see. What did you think of Century Spice Road? I actually enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot, but I enjoyed it as much as I could have for that kind of game. It's a very light game, and I do enjoy the lighter Euros more than the heavier ones, so there is that. I liked the components especially. Very nice components. I thought they should be packaged a little bit better in the box, but overall I think it's a decent game and one that is very fun to play as far as I'm concerned. It probably won't hit the table a whole lot with just me, but when it hits the table I'd be willing to play it. Let's see here. Chat is going very fastly. I cannot keep up with it on the pop out, so I'm going to switch back. Let's see here. Thoughts on Gloomhaven getting to 9 on BGG already? Well, I don't know a whole lot about I've only played Gloomhaven once. I want to play it more, but the problem is that we've been so busy lately, and it's not going to slow down anytime soon. So as soon as we can, I know it's on the docket to play again, but right now it's still in the future. So I can't really say much more about it. The fact that it's already at number 9 on Board Game Geek, I guess that's just hype, mostly. I mean, there's a lot of people who really enjoy the game, and I know Tom's like goo goo gaga over it. So that's that, I guess. I'm not saying that it doesn't deserve to be there, although it's kind of strange that it is already at number 9 and it's only had really kind of one Kickstarter behind it. So I don't know. I'm looking forward to playing it again. Let's see here. What are my favorite miniatures from any game ever? And well, Games Workshop miniatures have always been ones that I enjoy more often than not. Um, to say that they're my favorite miniatures, I don't know. I just got through putting together the orc boys that come in Shadow Wars Armageddon, and I really enjoyed putting together those miniatures. So orcs are probably my favorite. I really like Space Marines for their uniformity, but I like orcs for their just wacky, crazy inventions that they come up with. So that's that. Um, do I still love Blood Rage? Yes. Matter of fact, I played it twice at MeepleCon after the Gamma Trade Show. So it's only like a 3-day convention. So yeah, I do really love Blood Rage a lot. Do you make your own washes for painting if in a bind? No, I don't. Has Kickstarter... I'm sorry, I don't know what's wrong with chat. I'm seeing things just go away. So I'm missing them a lot. Let's see. Let's see. Last time I attended a Cubs game last year. No. Early last year though, like at the beginning of the year with I took my youth group to go see them at the Marlins Stadium down here in Miami. So are you familiar with the Kickstarter game Rise to Nobility? It's a dice worker placement game. I saw, it's a little bit of a spoiler, but Rob Oren did a little segment for Throw Punch Lunch where he talked about it. So I saw what he said about it. I don't know anything else after that though. I've never played Malifaux, Lewis, so I don't have any thoughts on it actually. Did you follow the Kickstarter for Rising Sun? I did. I did follow it very closely, and it's amazing how well it did. So kudos to Simon and Eric Lane for that. Let's see. What is the most Euro game that you love? The most Euro game that you love. Wow. You know, probably Power Grid, I would imagine. That is probably the most Euro game that but I mean, Caverna is up there too. I like Caverna a lot. So, Pillars of the Earth also. So I guess those are all kind of classic Euro gamies. So, yeah, chat just keeps disappearing. So if I don't get to your question, I apologize. It's because I literally cannot get up to the top. It's not letting me scroll all the way back to the beginning of the chat. So I don't know why it's doing that. And I've looked to see if there's something that I can... oh, nope, don't want to do that. Pop out chat doesn't really help at all because it does the same thing. So I apologize. So maybe don't talk as much among yourselves. Maybe, I don't know, but I don't want to put that damper on the whole situation. So that ruins your experience. So yeah, I don't know what to do here. So I apologize. We'll get back to it. Let's see. Let's see here. We are considering going to PAX Unplugged. I already said that, so there you have it. Okay, I was able to go back a little bit. Joe is actually here. That can't be good. Anyway. All right, Board Game Renegade. Hi, Jeremiah. Conan or Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Shadows? Well, I haven't played TMNT Shadows yet. I wanted to at Board Game Geek, but Z said no. So I'm going to put that on him. I have played Conan, though, and I really enjoy it. So we'll have to see. What's the difference between symbology and iconography? Nothing. Would I be interested in a legacy version of Imperial Assault? Probably not, because I'm not really in the hunt for another legacy game. I think Pandemic Legacy and Risk Legacy really knocked it out of the park. I'm interested to see some of the newer ones that come up. I'm really interested in Pandemic Season 2, Legacy Season 2. I'm really looking forward to that one. I want to see what they've done differently. And then Charterstone, I think, is another legacy game that's coming out. So I'm interested to see what these new games are coming out. I'm just not in the legacy hype right now. Once bit, twice shy, I guess. Let's see here. Will you be a third co-host of the podcast at some time? I don't know. That's up to Tom. Let's see. All right, I was able to go up pretty high, so we'll try to get some of these other things here. In your opinion, what is the most important thing to painting minis well? Taking your time, patience, finding a look that you like. Stop trying to mimic other people's looks and other people's styles. Come up with a style of your own. Stick to the basics and make the model look the way you want it to look, regardless of what other people's renditions of that same model have been. Really, you're painting these models not more often than not to enter into a tournament or a competition or anything like that. You're simply wanting to make your game look a little bit more cool on the board, right? So usually I hold things out at arm's length, or I set them on the table and I look back at them, and if it looks great, kudos, let's get going. So again, painting a minis well is a subjective thing. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder, all of that kind of stuff. So what looks good to you, that's what matters. So Joe Stedman did not beat me in Blood Rage. He's a liar. Matter of fact, he almost cried at the end of it because he was, I don't like this. He liked the game, but that's that. Let's see. How hard is miniature warfare to get into? Never was tempted. Miniature warfare. Song of Fire coming out. I'm very tempted. Yeah. The Song of Fire game coming out from Cool Mini or Not, the Game of Thrones miniature tabletop game, looks really cool. So I haven't played it, of course. Very interested in that. But how hard is it to get into? It depends on what company you're going with, I guess. I mean, all these companies have different varying levels of some of them have skirmish games that are out there. Skirmish games are probably easier to get into because you don't have as many models. You don't have, the rule sets for skirmish games are usually a lot lighter. So I would say maybe try a skirmish game before you go full bore into one of the other full out tabletop games. But there you go. Let's see. What do you think about the Hawks' chances at the Cup this year? I don't follow everything, so I don't know how all of the different seeds are lining up and all of that kind of thing. I know the Bruins just clinched a couple days ago just because I saw that on a news feed somewhere. So I think if they make the playoffs, which I'm sure they probably will, they have a very good chance just because they have a stellar team. I know I'm biased, but Scott Darling is really on top of his game this year, so he'd be a tremendous backup. Crawford is also doing very well this year as well, so we've got two solid goalies. Panarin is just off the chain. Uh, all of just all the cogs seem to be working very well together. So I think they have a great chance. Um, don't know when we're going to be playing Gloomhaven again. Hopefully it's soon, but we've been really busy lately, preparing for having a week away. So I don't know. Let's see here. Hey, every time we play skirmish mode in the Imperial Assault, the rebels get squashed. Is there an ally pack that will help? I just watched on Throw Punch Lunch a couple days ago. Last episode, Corey Satilli did a spot on the Luke Skywalker ally pack, and that's a very tough, very strong ally pack. So maybe that has something to do with it. He has a segment on Throw Punch Lunch called Jedi Mind Games. Sorry, where he just talks about different Star Wars games, and he's been doing Imperial Assault here for the last couple of episodes. So you might want to go back and check that. Let's see here. Zombicide Green Horde excited? Yes, very. My son saw a advertisement for it as well, and he thought it was pretty cool looking too. So that's probably something we're gonna have to hit up. Let's see here. Somebody stopping by in Boca Raton next week, 411, 412. Will anyone from the Dice Tower be making an appearance? Well, next week we're going to be out at the Gathering of Friends up in New York, so we probably won't be there, but anybody else, I don't know. Going to continue scrolling down. Let's see here. When is the Dice Tower going to design their own games with all the knowledge you have as a group? Wow. We're so busy creating content that we have very little time to do other things other than play games that we need to review to make the content for. Designing a game is a lot of work. Now, I've never designed a game. I've got one that's like kicking around on a notebook somewhere, but I don't have the time to put into developing it and all that other kind of stuff. So there's a whole lot of work that goes into designing a game. It's not just writing something on a piece of paper, giving it to somebody, and they make it. It's a lot more involved than that. So to answer your question, I don't know that it'll ever happen, but not a bad idea. No, Aaron, I do not have any insider knowledge about Zombicide Green Horde. The only knowledge is that it's on the way. What was ice cream like in Korea? Pretty much the same as it is everywhere. Although I was introduced to pistachio flavored ice cream in Korea, and that was a very cool thing. I love pistachio ice cream. I also like pistachios, but I started liking pistachios after I tried the ice cream. So there you go. What is your go-to brush and paint brand? My brushes are whatever's cheapest at Michael's. I don't usually buy very expensive brushes just because they're expensive. As far as my paint brands are concerned, I usually use Citadels or Army Painter. Those are the two that I use a lot. But there are a lot of other very inexpensive acrylic paints that are at Michael's and Hobby Lobby and all these other kind of hobby stores that are out there. So I would encourage you to try those out again. Vallejo is also a brand that I've used in the past. But I would encourage you, if you're just starting, I don't know if that's true of you, but if you're just starting out, I would go with the acrylics that are in the hobby store, so that you don't have that high money output at the very beginning. I have not heard of any expansions for London Dread. I apologize. Where's the new Time Stories playthrough? Well, it got corrupted. The video that we shot for the new Time Stories expansion, the Expedition Endurance, got corrupted, and we could not actually use it. So it's gone. So we apologize for that. How did my wife and I first meet? Well, we first met in college at Pensacola Christian in Pensacola, Florida. And it's actually a strange story. It's better when my wife tells it, but it basically went like this. My wife wanted to, well, not my wife at the time, of course. She wanted to meet me. We sat next to each other in English class. And I was not ever a very, I did not like English class, I'll put it that way. So I wasn't very in on, you know, socializing while I was there. So she talked to the teacher, and the teacher said, well, why don't you do this? Why don't you forget your book in your room, and I'll have you share your book with him, or he'll have him share his book with you after you forget it. And so we met that way, and then we talked in other classes because we had a lot of the same classes together, maybe like 2 or 3 different classes that were the same, and so it grew from there. But we met at college. Favorite sports movie of all time. Favorite sports movie of all time. Wow, Facing the Giants is a good one. That's a Christian one. Chariots of Fire I was very intrigued by that movie. My grandparents used to take me to the beach in Texas, on the Gulf, every once in a while, and they have pictures of me running like the British runners did in Chariots of Fire. They have pictures of me doing that. I don't recall it, but not actually I do. But so Chariots of Fire is a good one. Really drawing a blank. Rudy is awesome. The Natural, also a good movie. So, yeah, those are those. Let's see. How do you feel about Academy's light war games? I really like them. I wish it's more me than their actual rule book, but I wish I was better at understanding their rule books, because I know their rule books are not bad. I have a hard time understanding them, so I wish I could understand them better so that I could experience them on my own more often. But more often than not, I have to have them taught to me by somebody else. So I struggle with getting through their rule books, but I know it's with me. It's not necessarily with them. But I really enjoy their light war games. They're a great company, and they make really great historically based games that really touch on a number of different places within history that are largely untouched by other companies. So definitely check them out if you have not yet already. Since you guys, oh man, it popped away. Sorry. James Dunn has something here. He wants me to talk about Rob Oren, and I just want to let you know there's nothing between me and Rob. There's nothing between really anybody at the Dice Tower and Rob that I'm aware of. We're going to continue doing Battling Brushes. He is still doing his segments, his Kickstarter Thrash Up on Throat Punch Lunch. There is Rob and I are great friends, and it's going to stay that way. He went to Miniature Market as a way for him to get more help helping other people, and that's always been his thing. They were able to give him a good deal, so I don't know what the deal was or anything like that. It doesn't affect my friendship with him. So yeah, there it is. Let's see here. What are my favorite races to play in Twilight Imperium? I have. I like the Embers of Muat. I also like the Ghosts of Cruz. Those are my two favorite, probably. I like the gates for the Ghosts of Cruz, and I like starting with a War Sun with the Embers of Muat. So there you go. Hello, Sanjuro Shinjitsu in Hollywood. Ooh, okay. Thank you for joining us. Optimal player count for TI3, I would say probably 5 or 6. I usually don't want to go over 6 players, and I really don't want to go over 6 players if somebody is new. But I would say anywhere from 5 to 6 is probably the best. Let's see here. When you are really familiar with a game, Blood Rage, like Blood Rage or TI3, do you try new combos or go to the paved path to victory? Well, with both of those games, the nature of them really, I've never really seen a paved road to victory in either of them, with those two specifically. And I think that more often than not, the games that I enjoy at least, I know that there are games that are like scripted and there is a one set path to victory and everybody's trying to clamor to get to that one. I don't like games like that usually. I like having multiple ways to win a game. And I think Blood Rage and TI3 are both ways. I mean, of course, you're both trying to get points, but how you get those points can differ widely. So, especially with Blood Rage, I really think how you draft cards and how well you're able to draft cards at the game really kind of drives how well you're going to do in the game. If you are not able to draft well, or if you just don't know what you're drafting, as you would in early games, then you're going to have a more difficult time. But yeah, I like to try different things a lot. So it just depends on the mood that I'm in. So yeah. What was my first modern board game? I don't recall exactly which one was my first. However, the one that originally pops to mind, and I know it wasn't my first one, it was just the first game that we played in a board game cafe in Korea. We took a trip up to Seoul. We were living in Gunsan at the time, and we took a trip up to Seoul. Me, Tom, Ryan, and I think Joe was with us. I can't remember for sure if he was, but I think he was. And we went with a friend of ours named Shin Yu, and he took us to his friend's board game cafe, and we played Citadels together all there. And that was my first game in a Korean board game cafe, and that's the one that I usually think up with to answer questions like that. So hopefully that helped you. When you play Stone Age, do you have a favorite strategy, or does it depend on the players? I think it depends on more than just the players. It also depends upon what cards come up and what order they come up, what buildings come up, and what order they come up in. So there's a number of different things that you can do. I usually try to have a balancing effect on, your food production is pretty paramount, so you don't have to waste a whole lot of time going to find food or hunt for food. So that's one of the scripted things in the game that I kind of give a free pass to, because I usually don't like scripted moves, but food production is a must. So if you go first, that's pretty much the first thing you're going to do, more often than not. But I don't think I've ever won. I don't think I've ever won a game, or I don't think I've ever seen somebody else win a game where they did not do that, because you have to minimize how much time you spend hunting. Otherwise, you just have to spend all your time hunting, and that's not going to win you the game. So, yeah. What was church in Korea like compared to in America for you? there wasn't really a difference. I went to a church that, had it been in America, I probably would have gone to it as well. The only difference being is that it was a much more multicultural experience, and I really enjoyed that. Here, unfortunately, in America, there isn't a whole lot of, well, at least, like, that's one of the things that I want my church to be, is more multicultural. And there is multiple cultures in my church. Don't get me wrong. It's just that there's, I wish it was more, because I like that feeling of people coming together, from all different walks of life. So yeah, it was more multicultural, but as far as the church services and what they believe in, all that kind of stuff, that's pretty much the same as the kind of churches that I go to here. So how do you type with boxing gloves on? Very carefully. What's a top 10 list that you'd like to do that Tom vetoes? I don't know. He usually comes up with a top 10 list. We talk about them, but he usually comes up with the ideas, and then we flesh through which ones we all think would make a good list. So I usually don't come up with any of them. Do I have Instagram? I do, but I rarely use it, because my fingers are fat, and so when I'm scrolling past pictures, I have mistakenly or accidentally liked them, and I find out later on that I've liked them, and I hate that because it makes me look like something that I'm not. So I usually stay away from Instagram, just because I don't like that aspect of the game, of the app. So I don't hardly ever use Instagram. I use Twitter, and I also use Facebook. Those are the two social medias that I go to. Let's see here. Let's see. I'm sorry. I hate to have dead air here. How can you teach speech but not like English? Because English class is usually filled with a lot of grammar. Grammar is more what I don't like than English. I like my language, don't get me wrong, but it's more the grammar side of it that I just found very tedious. So how can I teach speech and not like English? Well, speech is how to use your language, not how to use your grammar. I know it's a fine line maybe, but I really enjoy teaching speech, especially debate, because debate is more about logic and the accumulation of knowledge and facts, and using those facts in an honest and reliable way. So I really enjoyed that. I wasn't a very good teacher of speech, that I don't think so, at least, but I enjoyed it a lot more than English. Let's see here. Are there any game studios besides Cowra Games that are currently working on good Christian-themed board games? Leonardo Games, I think is their name, made Nehemiah, which is a worker placement game about the rebuilding of the wall at Jerusalem after the Babylonian captivity. That's a good one. But I don't know if they have other ones. I haven't looked into other games that they might have produced. So you might check them out, Leonardo Games. Yeah, that's about it. That's coming to mind. I don't think about this stuff on a constant basis, so I apologize. Let's see here. Will I be visiting Ireland before or after UKGE? Unfortunately, probably not. It's a little bit more expensive than I can afford to, jump from one island to the next. But we are going to be spending a couple of days, I think. I don't know exactly how many, before UKGE, in and around some sightseeing, touristy type stuff, because Z's going to be with us this year, so we're going to possibly do some of the things that we did last year so that he can experience them as well. But getting over to Ireland is probably a little bit outside of my price range. Let's see here. Do you prefer to be the one to read the rule book and teach a game, or do you prefer to be taught by somebody else? Definitely the latter. I prefer to be taught a game, and then if I want to look at it a little bit more, then I can go back and read through the instructions. Some rule books I can get no problem, but other rule books, usually the ones that are a little bit more verbose, are the ones that I have more trouble wrapping my head around. And if I can just experience the game and play the game, then all of the stuff in the rulebook makes sense. But making sense of it beforehand is more difficult for me. So I am usually the one that likes to just be taught and then go from there. But I will teach. That, don't get me wrong, I will teach. But if somebody else is willing to teach, great on them. So I'll allow them to do it and not have a worry. Let's see. I haven't had a chance to look at Rise to Nobility yet, but I am going to. You're the second person that's talked to me about it today, and Rob Oren did a segment for next week's Throat Punch Lunch, partially about Rise to Nobility, and it piqued my interest. So I am going to be looking at it, but not yet. Let's see here. Gloomhaven and Rising Sun are on Kickstarter for similar prices. Which would you recommend? I haven't enjoyed Blood Rage if it matters. Well, Rising Sun has been billeted as the spiritual successor to Blood Rage. With that being said, having played only a partial game of Rising Sun and how much I enjoy Blood Rage, there are some similarities to Blood Rage, but it's not like they just reprinted a Japanese version of Blood Rage. So don't misunderstand that whole spiritual successor thing. It's still dudes on a map. It's still area control type stuff, but combat is way different. Miniatures are off the chain. So if you already like Blood Rage, I would imagine that you will probably at least have a very good chance of liking Rising Sun as well. I like both of them, and I'm very excited to give a full playthrough of Rising Sun a go. But I've only played Gloomhaven once, so I'm very hesitant to give any more than just first impressions type stuff that we've already done with Miami Dice on Gloomhaven, because I've only played it once. So I really don't want to say anything else about that.
It's amazing.
Tom says it's amazing. Shocker. Gloomhaven, that is. He hasn't played Rising Sun yet. Why do you never or hardly ever review, promote board games which are war games? GMT, multi-man, MMP, I think that's multi-man press publishing, I think, Compass Games. Quite simply, what I was saying earlier about navigating rule books on my own, that's why. If your rule book reads like a technical manual, which the ones that I've come in contact with have, I'm not able to do that well. And it would take me, what somebody could take a week and learn how to play, it'll take me 2 weeks. So it takes me like twice as long to get through a rule book that's written in such a way as these things are. I have Villainous Vikings on my shelf at home. I bought it because people said, because how much I like Vikings, that I need to try the game. I'm just having trouble getting through it. Don't have the time right now, but I have looked at the rule book. I just have to look at it some more. So it's just that kind of stuff. That is coming, by the way. It's not that I don't like playing these kinds of games. Combat Commander is one of my it's one of my favorite simulation games for World War II. So I do like their games. It's just that getting through their rule books is difficult for me. So that's why I usually steer away from them. Let's see. Am I going to, or are we going to do battling brushes on mechs versus minions? Probably not. There's plenty of games that are coming out this year that we're looking forward to, and we're trying to keep the games that we do on battling brushes a little bit more um, uh, current, I guess you could say, or contemporary. And Mechs and Minions is it's not that old. I understand that, just last year, but we're looking at what we're looking at in the future is games that are coming out this year, rather than going backwards and talking about other things. So right now we're finishing up. We're starting Guild Ball this week, this Sunday. A couple days we're going to have our first episode of Guild Ball for battling brushes, and so once we get that done, we're finishing up from our Jack Fowles Memorial Fund entries. And we're really like super late. The three people that have bought have been super patient, and we really appreciate that. But we really want to get Guild Ball out of the way before we start thinking about what's next. Let's see. How often are you guys dragged into playtesting now that you are all working in the same office? Dragged into playtesting? I don't think we're ever dragged into. Maybe you're just using those words as kind of but that's not how it feels. If somebody wants to get a game played, we are willingly ready to do that. We love playing games. So if somebody needs to play test to get a review done, let's get it. Let's do it. We're never dragged into it. Let's see. Thank you, Jason. I am trying to work hard on getting to the gym. I'm up at 6 o'clock in the morning. I know that's not early for some people, but it's really early for me. And I spend about an hour every day in the gym, Monday through Friday. I take the weekends off just because. But Rob's daughter is helping me with different pointers on what to do in the gym, what to do at the table and that type of thing as far as eating and whatnot, what to stay away from. So I appreciate you saying something. What's a game you love but never win? Wow. Well, I rarely win Blood Rage. I rarely win it, especially if Z's at the table. If Z's at the table, I'm just not going to win. He's probably going to beat me. TI3, I've played it many, many times. I've only won it once. That was 2 years ago at MeepleCon. Last year at MeepleCon. So those are two. Those are ones that stick out in my mind. I used to really enjoy Arkham Horror and had to battle Cthulhu by myself and lost both times, twice in a row. Two sequential plays of Arkham Horror, both times. So I guess there's probably a lot more, but I don't win a whole lot of games unless it's like the first time we're playing the game and everybody's trying like weird strategies, and I happen to try a strategy that wins. So, but even that doesn't happen a whole lot. But I don't win very many games, period. Let's see. Got about 15 minutes left. Let's see here. What languages other than English can you speak relatively well? None. I have dabbled in a lot of different languages. I can read Korean pretty well, but I don't always know what I'm reading because the Korean phonetic system is very simple. It's very easy to read, and all of the characters that are there. I have a problem sometimes with understanding how to say the blends in Korean, but Hangul. But other than that, I took one semester of Russian in college, which has all gone by the wayside because I don't use it at all. Although I can say that, whatever president is a very bad president. For some reason, that sentence has stuck in my mind for whatever reason. So that's that. I speak English relatively well, and that's about it. Let's see here. Whoa, what just happened? What just happened? Let's see. It jumped on me. I apologize. We'll get right back to it in just a minute. Brijesh Kartha, hello in India. Thank you for stopping by and watching. Appreciate it. I just saw that. Do I have OCD? No, I do not have OCD. That is actually a medically verifiable disorder, and I do not have OCD. I do like seeing things in order, though. So there you have it. I do not have any other info on Kingsburg 2nd Edition other than what you can already find online. Don't have anything else other than that. What is the ideal throat punch technique? I don't know, because I don't throat punch people. I just allow people to take pictures of me acting like I'm doing it. I don't know what the best technique for it is. You might, however, want to ask, let's see, where was it? I saw it. There's a person in here that said that their pastor is an MMA fighter. So ask their pastor. You'll see it in the chat there. I have not played Santorini yet, and yes, you're correct. It has been a great year for abstracts so far this year, but I've not yet played Santorini. I still want to very much. What do I not like about Command and Colors Ancients? Honestly, the blocks and the stickers. And I don't like the whole keep your whole forces in a line, and if you break the line, it's bad, and all this other kind of stuff. And again, it's been years since I've played Command and Colors Ancients, so maybe I'm cloudy as far as all the little minutia that's in the game, but it's just it starts off on a bad foot because I'm not interested in ancient history, at least the wartime ancient history. I like biblical history and that type of stuff, and I'm interested in that, but the period of time that it covers and the wars and battles that happened then, I'm not as interested in those as I am World War I, World War II, and more modern than that. So that's why, mainly, but blocks and stickers. Favorite aspect of Dice Tower Con you're looking forward to? Really, it's there's that's kind of a two-pronged answer. The first one is I really like just meeting people for the first time and seeing them again. I also enjoy the feeling of camaraderie that's there, or family that's there. It really has a more family-friendly atmosphere than many of the other conventions that are there. Not that the other conventions don't have a good family-friendly feeling, but I think Dice Tower Con just does more so. Additionally to that, the second part of it is I'm looking forward to running a painting class every day this year instead of just 2 of them. So, I mean, we greatly underestimated the popularity of those last year, and so we've kind of made some changes to that. We're going to be offering 1 class every day right before lunch. And on top of that, Games Workshop is going to be sponsoring it actually a little bit more. Last year they sent us the stuff for it, but this year it seems like they're leaning towards sponsoring it being a Games Workshop sponsored event a little bit more. So I'm really looking forward to that as well, as see what we can work out and how that's going to change the feel of it a little bit. But I'm really looking forward to those aspects. Also, my family's going to be there this year. I'm going to do my best to get them a vacation, because the resort there is just awesome. So really looking forward to all of those different things. Dice Tower Con is a great convention. And I would think that even if I didn't work for the Dice Tower. Do I have a favorite book? My favorite series of books is the Dragon King trilogy by Stephen Lawhead. Really like that whole. That's 3 books. I know you said 1, but I really like that trilogy. I also liked Clear and Present Darkness, and then Piercing the Darkness. Those are both really cool books to me as well. Excuse me for clearing my throat. I have this drink over here. It's a 0. All right, so I got you. Will the Memoir 44 books ever get further printings? I don't know. There it is. William Smith. You guys talk to, you want to know about throat punching techniques? Talk to William Smith's pastor. He's an MMA fighter. There, I found it. If I had to choose between Blood Rage and Zombicide Black Plague, which would you rather play? Probably Blood Rage, but it just depends on the mood that I'm in, and how long ago it was that I played Blood Rage last. Like, if I just get out of a game of Blood Rage and somebody says, hey, will you play Zombicide Black Plague? No, I'm going to play this again. No, I'm not going to do that. I'll probably play Black Plague. So it just depends on the situation. In your opinion, what company has increased the quality of the games the most in the last 5 years? Wow. I would probably say, I would imagine that Comedy or Not is really stepping it up, beyond the shadow of a doubt. They are really making a lot of great choices. Portal, same thing. Yellow always kind of had great looking games. Whether I liked their games or not, it was kind of hit or miss, but their games are always very well produced. So, man. But then even on the other side, Games Workshop is really bringing it, I think. Making a lot of, I think, good choices. Now, I wasn't a Warhammer Fantasy diehard or anything like that, so I know that a lot of people took a real heavy hit when they discontinued Warhammer Fantasy to open up Age of Sigmar, but it just seems like they're really trying to make a lot of good changes at Games Workshop. So any one of those 4 probably for me would be a good answer. Steven Sir says, you put commissioned on your top games of the year. Is it actually worth the buy, or is it just a good Christian themed game? Well, I wouldn't have put it on my list if I didn't think it was worth a buy. Matter of fact, and I can say that was not a game that was given to me. I purchased it. Now the prototype was given to me so that I could play it and preview it and all that kind of stuff for the Kickstarter, but which has the caveat that that's the last Kickstarter preview that the Dice Tower ever did. That's just a tidbit of a little factoid. But no, I actually, that's the only game on Kickstarter that I have backed. So part of that is fund availability, but another part of it is, I had the money, so boom, I did it. So yeah, I think it's worth the buy. And yes, it is also a very good Christian themed game. So there you have it. Let's see, 5 minutes left. Let's see. Tell you what, let's go down to, I'm going to scroll all the way down to the bottom, and let's do 5 minutes of rapid fire question and Q&As, okay? So just hit me with the either ors, okay? The rapid fire questions that we usually do, okay? So here we go. I'm waiting. You guys just go ahead and give me a, choose one or the other, quick. There we go. Waiting. I'm still waiting. Wings or gills? Definitely wings. Especially if they're chicken wings. Let's see. Mountain lion or grizzly bear? The bears. Grizzly bear, definitely. Tom or Z? Not answering that one. Let's see here. Coke or Pepsi? I'm not drinking Cokes, but Cokes. Canadian or American? Both. They're both American. Chicken or beef? Beef, but I'm eating mostly chicken right now. TI3 or Star Wars Rebellion? Star Wars Rebellion. Because it's shorter. Let's see here. Stroop waffles or Belgian waffles? Wow. Stroop waffles are really good. So I'm going to go with Stroop waffles. Matte or gloss clear coat? Matte, by far. Stop glossing up your miniatures. Let's see. Concert or festival? Depends on who's at the concert and festival. But I'll go with concert. Let's see. Race or roll for the Galaxy? Roll. Agricola or Monopoly? Oh no, that is a that is a rock and a hard place right there. Competitive or co-op? Usually co-op, but again, it depends on the co-op game. Let's see. Xenoshift Dreadmire worth the buy? Yes. Metallica or Megadeth? Again, I don't listen to them as, like I used to, but Metallica. Rock or metal? Metal. Descent or Imperial Assault? Imperial Assault. Dice City or Dice Town? Dice Town. Soccer or hockey? Hockey. Soccer being a very close second. Rogue One or Episode 7? I'm going to go with Rogue One. Vikings or Samurai? Vikings. Yoda or Vader? Really? Yoda, by far. Werewolves or vampires? Werewolves. I just think they're cooler. Cake or pie? I'm going to go with pie. Pizza or burgers? Burgers. Paper or plastic? Either. Recyclable plastic. How's that? Ocean or mountains? Mountains, by far. I do not like the beach. I like watching the ocean from afar, but I definitely like the mountains. Let's see. Battlestar Galactica or Babylon 5? No choice. BSG all the way. Drumsticks or spare ribs? Spare ribs. Pirates or ninjas? Pirates. Angus or Malcolm? Angus. Let's see here. Peeper or Backstreet Boys? Neither. Black Plague or Pandemic? Definitely Black Plague. Pancakes or waffles? Waffles, because they have all those little cups to hold the syrup. Let's see. Age of War or Bang the Dice Game? Depends on the group. I like both of them very much. Kale or spinach? Neither. Glasses or no glasses? Z. That's an interesting choice. Pink or purple? I don't like either of those colors. Pirates or ninjas? We already answered that. Steward or stewardesses? I don't know what that means. Lemon or lime? Lemon. Buffy or Underworld? Underworld. Aliens or robots? Aliens. Drumsticks or guitar picks? Guitar picks. No, we're not doing anything here. Don't worry about it. Eldritch Horror or Arkham Horror? Eldritch. Rising Sun or Blood Rage? I don't know yet. But right now, Blood Rage, because I only have like a 2/3 of a playthrough of Rising Sun. Sci-fi or fantasy? Sci-fi. Strawberries or blueberries? Strawberries by far. Health or wealth? health.
You paused though.
Because I don't have wealth, so I'm kind of just, I have to. Bagels or donuts? Neither. They're both bad for you.
What? Bagels are good for you.
No, they're not. Mohawk or faux hawk? Mohawk. Batman or Spider-Man? Spider-Man. Metal or plastic tokens? Metal. Cookout or cook-in? Cook something. Gloomhaven or Phase 10? Gloomhaven. Resin or plastic? Either. Just depends on the quality of it. Strat or Les Paul? Strat. I never really liked Les Pauls. Horror or thriller? Thriller. I'm not that huge of a horror fan. So, Mr. T or Chuck Norris? Come on. Chuck Norris, by far. But I also like Mr. T. He was the best B.A. Baracus. Miami or Key West? Neither. Homestead. And with that, we're going to end this right here. In Homestead, yes. Thank you guys for joining us. I certainly appreciate it. We are going to be having a good time at the gathering. We're probably going to be doing some stuff, possibly, like Q&As and that type of stuff, just impromptu stuff at the gathering of friends. So be on the lookout for that. We also have a whole bunch of other content already lined up for you next week, so enjoy that as well. So until next time, we'll see you guys on the flip side. And now I'm going to turn off the computer like so. So I come over here and I stop streaming and I click OK